Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Georgia and today I'm going to be testing out this Revolution Powder Foundation. This is the Satin Matte Powder Foundation in the shade P1 and it just comes in like a rose gold compact here with a little button that you just press there to pop it open. And then inside we have a puff and then just a little tray to kind of protect the powder foundation there as well. So I'm giving this one a go today. My skin is slightly clearer in the past few days, so I thought that would be the best time to kind of test this out. Because it does say it does have a medium buildable coverage, but I just don't see it staying on your skin very long. I don't see it having that much coverage if it's just a powder, but that's just wanted to give it a go and see anyway. I do have like combination oily skin at times. My skin's feeling pretty okay recently and it has like cleared up. So I wanted to give this a go, but we'll just see how it sits on my skin. I did moisturise probably like a few hours ago, so it's not tacky or anything now. So we'll just see how it goes. So I'm going to start off like how they recommend. They just say by taking the puff and dabbing it into the powder and then kind of just patting it onto your face to kind of build up a bit more coverage. And I guess it's not dragging or moving anything that you would have underneath. So I'm using the puff that comes with it, which I find quite handy because you don't have to worry about trying to find your own little thing or travel with it. I feel like you would have to, like, it's not a case of you just not looking in the mirror and just being like this and putting it on. Because as I was doing it, I was seeing like circles from the shape of the puff on there. So you would have to, it'd be on an, like, be good to use on the go, but you would have to definitely look at kind of what you're doing. You can get this one from their website. I did buy it from Superdrug's website a few weeks back, just when they had like a half price on all their Conceal and Define products. But I think they are currently having a 3 for 2 offer on the Revolution website at the moment. I don't know, it's giving something to my skin. And it is making it look matte, but I suppose any powder would. If I put any powder on my face right now, it would make it look more matte. My skin wasn't necessarily shiny to start off with. This isn't really like a pop-up puff. It is more plastic or slightly like foamy. It's got a pressed edge, so it's kind of slightly sharp. So you would probably have to like fold it up slightly to get near your eyes because that edge bit is slightly sharp. My whole life I've kind of been like, oh, I love a matte foundation. I love a matte foundation, but this is maybe too matte. And I know it's literally just a powder, but I feel like it makes me look like I'm dead. It doesn't give anything to my skin. And this is the shade I normally use. This is P1. So this is like the shade I normally use at F1 or F2 in the foundation. But I just feel like it is slightly light or doesn't have anything else going for it. It's just very flat, which I suppose a powder foundation is going to be unless they make it with shimmer or like reflective things in it. It has actually got a decent amount of coverage, but so far it is me kind of just patting it onto my skin, so I feel like it is just sat on top of my skin. I don't know what the difference would be if I was to go and put like a setting spray on top of it or something. I might try that and see how it goes. Because right now it's just making my skin look very dry. This might be good if you do have quite oily skin, but I also kind of feel like this would be good if you wanted a bit more coverage to put on top of your foundation. That you could put this on, it'd give you slightly more coverage compared to just a normal pressed powder or loose powder or something. Because kind of thing, when do I stop? When do I stop putting it more on my face? Because normally with a normal foundation you'd be able to tell, like you could see where you need it more, or you'd know when to stop because there's too much on your face. I don't know, I was gonna say it's a nice base, but actually looking at it I can just see every single like fine line and pore. It just looks really up here, but my skin isn't the best texture anyway. It just really emphasises a lot more, like under my eye, like on my nose. I can really see my texture, which my skin is textured anyway, everybody's is. So of course at some point you're gonna see that through certain foundations or even just without wearing a foundation or anything, but I just feel like it emphasises a lot more. I'm going to try to take a bit on a brush to see if I can get a bit more under the eye. Not that I really need that much coverage, but I just feel like it's made my under eyes look slightly grey. Don't know. So I'm just taking this is my Kitco Flawless Face small brush. I think it's 0.21. I'm just gonna dab this under. I wanted to give this one a go originally because I see Fenty have just brought a powder foundation out and everyone's really like raving about it, and I was kind of like, what's the deal with powder foundations anyway? I know it's probably for people with different skin types, so if you have oily skin you might get better with a powder foundation compared to like combination oily or like combination dry type skin, or definitely dry. And I know that just because a foundation is the same formula but in a different brand, it doesn't mean it's going to work the same throughout. They might have added different stuff to theirs, there might be more things in there to do whatever, it might look different and everything. I'd hope for that price point that it would, but this today, I don't think I really like it. I'm gonna go and put some other products on top of it, like blush and bronzer and stuff, but yeah, I imagine it just be the same because it's going to be a powder. So imagine all the other powder products are going to be the same on top of it. The only thing is, if you were to use this all the time, or this was your foundation, your go-to, you probably wouldn't be able to use like cream products on top of it. But then again, you might not like cream products anyway. Whatever, might not be a big deal. But I definitely think this is probably for someone with more oily skin, or someone just to touch up in certain areas to give a bit more coverage rather than a full-on foundation, because I just think it makes my skin look not even cakey. I don't know. I don't know how to describe. You can see everything. It just even emphasised like my moustache area here as well, while just making my overall skin tone just look kind of blur. And I know I'm pale anyway, but it just made it look pale, boring, grey almost in a way. It's not full on, it's not a complete like grey cast or anything, but I just think it hasn't really added much to my face. Okay, so I've just put blush, bronzer and everything on, and then I've set it with a setting spray as well. I think it looks okay. It's okay for a foundation, but I just feel like you could get a very similar look with using a liquid foundation and then just putting a powder over the top of it, or even using a matte liquid foundation and going over the top of it, or even just a tinted moisturiser as well. Tinted moisturiser, make one nice and fresh, put powder where you need it, and then put the rest of your products on and then set it with a setting spray. I just feel like this isn't really, it doesn't look dry now that I put the setting powder on it, but it does kind of look, there's not much coverage, which I wasn't really expecting from a powder anyway. It is still looking quite dry and like textured in places, which is just my skin underneath anyway. So it still does look quite pale on me, which might be maybe I need a different shade, but this is the shade I usually use in the liquid foundations of theirs. But I just think it looks quite pale, just quite bland and boring, or just like, you know, it wasn't really that grey anyway to start with. I don't know why I kept saying it was grey. It just looked dead. Yeah, it's lame. I don't like it, I don't not like it either. I just probably wouldn't reach for it again, just because it is, you don't get much coverage from it anyway, and it's just a bit, I probably would use it just to put on top of foundation for a bit more coverage maybe, or just top up during the day, but otherwise I just feel it's quite drying. And then if you're taking it on the go and you're travelling with that, you're not really going to have like your setting spray or anything to put on top of it afterwards, so I feel like it's going to stay quite dry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you think about this foundation, whether you like it or not, and powder foundations in general actually, because I've never really tried any before, I don't think. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! Stop, that's how pale I am.